Project Blue Book case.
Oh,
This is
I love Project Blue Book case.
March the 22nd, 1966. March 23rd, 1966. Temple, Oklahoma. Eddie Laxing was an electronic instructor at Shepherd Air Force Base in 1966. He's driving down the road at about 5 in the morning. The sun is just barely coming up, so it's still a little bit dark. And all of a sudden, something's blocking the road. And what he saw is a 75-foot long, call it a bowling pin that flipped over on the side. And I'm going to start at the beginning here. It had a bubble transparent canopy up front. After that, there was an air stair door with a man shining a flashlight near the bottom of it. He was about 5'10", wearing two-piece green military fatigues. He had a baseball cap with the bill turned up. After that, there was a porthole window divided into 4 equal pie segments. Above that, there was a stinger or spire that swept back toward the end of the aircraft. And then if you look closely here, it has the letters TL4768 written on the side of the craft.
Oh, I see.
At the very end of the craft, there were 2 flight controls that were way too small to be aerodynamically effective. So the whole thing was sitting off the pavement by about 3 feet high on these lunar landing gear legs. So he stops his vehicle, he gets out of the car, and I did a kind of a updated drawing here. This shows you what this craft actually looks like. This is his original sketch. This is his original sketch right here.
Oh,
so now you can see the dimensions, 75 feet and 8 feet. So if this is 8 feet and this is 75 feet, this thing needs to be extended way out to here. And so that's why you see
right there.
Here. Now, he was so close to this man, he said that if he saw him later that afternoon in downtown, he'd recognize him. And this military personnel, he had ranking chevrons on his shoulders.
Like that.
So when you put all this together, okay, and, just to kind of wrap this story up, Eddie Laxing goes back to the trunk of his car. He was pulling out his camera. The second he pulled out his camera, this guy noticed that he was being watched. So he scurried up this air stair door. He closed the door. And then there was a high-pitched drilling noise. This whole thing levitated off the ground, sat there for about 15 seconds, and then took off like a spark in a grinding wheel. And this is all back in 1966.
Wow.
So what this means is we had the technology to do away with liquid rockets, solid rockets, as early as 1966. This is 3 years before Apollo 11. When Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, we already had the technology. This is our technology.
And then this guy didn't see this guy then?
Not initially. He was too busy looking at the bottom of the craft.
Yeah, he didn't even notice that he was being watched.
That's right.
That's amazing.
That's right.
Wow.
So, of course, I started digging, and I think I've got every conceivable newspaper clipping on this guy, like dozens and dozens of newspaper clippings.
Oklahoma.
And I've got the Project Blue Book report here, and
let me see the project.
This is a legitimate case. This is an absolutely legitimate case.
This is the
Here is the newspaper clipping artwork that they have. Temple man meets UFO on highway. Here is the index card for the Project Blue Book case.
Oh, look at this.
It's all original. Object sighting now rude. In other words, this is the man right here. This is Eddie Laxing. And what it says here is that he regretted ever even talking about this. He should have just shut his mouth. Because he got ridiculed, he got reprimanded, he got made fun of.
What was he?
He was an electronics instructor at Shepherd Air Force Base. This is the man that saw this craft.
Wow.
He was a flight instructor. He was a private pilot. He had thousands of hours. The guy was a perfect witness.
Yeah. So did they ruin him?
Were they?
Did they ruin him?
Yeah,
because
they basically people made fun of him. He got calls from London in the middle of the night, and it was really.
That is so sad.
But what I want to do is I want to point your attention to this part right here. It says, "What I saw was definitely not from space. The man was wearing fatigue."